Welcome to Hilary Emmanuel Ministries, where faith meets power, purity and prosperity, and breakthroughs are born. At Diadem, we equip you with bold prayers, life-transforming teachings, and spiritual strategies to overcome every challenge life throws your way. Join us as we dive into God's Word, experience His presence like never before, and walk in His purpose for our lives. If you're in London, we invite you to fellowship with us in person at Diadem, 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. Don't forget to subscribe now and let's grow in faith together.
We thank the Lord for all He has been doing for us. And we thank the Lord for a year like this. How the Lord has carried us through. How the Lord has helped us to survive the year. Because it's a year of survival. And the Lord has been faithful unto us. You know, there was something the Father was telling us. He says that anyone who survives the year will give testimony. So we know that it has been a very peculiar year. And we cannot say that this year has been all victory and success. And there's no defeat at all. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The year is ending now. But the real problem is to allow the defeats of this year to pass on into other years. And that's what we are here to ensure we block the defeats from going into the new year. That's what we want to put our legs down and vehemently refuse that the things we suffer, the defeats we suffer this year, will not go into the new year with us. I told you already that kings go to battle at the end of the year for different reasons. And one of them is to attack before being attacked, in order to avoid defeat. Because if you sit at home and they attack you, you might not survive it. So the best thing is to first of all attack before they attack you. Possibly you stand a chance of winning. And that's what we are talking about here today. Refusing to be defeated in the new year. Refusing to be defeated in the new year. That is, you want to fight a battle, you have to fight today. You want to do everything you need to do today, so that the new year will not come with any form of defeat. But what is defeat? Defeat means to overcome someone in a war, in a battle, or in a contest. The dictionary says that defeat brings shame, and it demoralizes. When someone is defeated, the person is totally demoralized. I can't forget what happened when the Irish referendum was held. That thing demoralized the church. It crushed the spirit of the church. And you could see the faces of those old women. If you look at their faces, you will see that defeat is not good. So that's what defeat does. The person will just go back home and resign to fate. So we want to make sure that there's no any form of defeat that will come our way in the new year. Because the way things happen, the way defeat comes in different forms. Defeat comes in different ways. Some people might suffer financial defeat. Some people suffer spiritual defeat. Some people suffer marital defeat. Some people suffer different career defeat. There are different kinds of defeat. There are different types of defeat. But we want to make sure that no any area of our lives will ever experience defeat in the new year. Look at Numbers 22. Numbers 22 verse 2. Something was Balak, the son of Zippor. He was a king, the king of Moab. He saw that Israel had done to the Amorite. What did he see? What did he hear? Because Israel was coming from Egypt, and they've started already to fight to take the land. The other side of Jordan, they have fought against some kingdoms there, and they have defeated those kingdoms. They've killed Og, king of Bashan. They've killed some other strong king, like that king they say that his bed is about 9 meters. So they've iron bed. And they've killed a lot of great kings. They've defeated them. Balak, being a king, I told you why kings go to battle. Being a king, he heard about the defeats of others. So he wanted to ensure that he himself didn't suffer that same defeat. He just heard. He just knew how Israel has defeated the Amorites. And look at the steps he started to take. And that's the wise step. And that's the step we are taking today. So that the defeats that happened this year, the defeat that it might not even happen to us. The defeat that happened to others will not happen to us in the new year. That's the step Balak started to take. Look at verse 3. Moab was so afraid. Afraid of what? Defeat. Afraid of defeat. Because they were many. And Moab was distressed. I told you that defeat brings distress. So there was distress because of the children of Israel. Verse 4. And Moab said unto the elders of Midian, now shall this company lick up all that are round about us, as the ox licketh up the grass of the field. Balak the son of Zippor was king of the Moabites at that time. He sent messengers. So he started to take a step to ensure that he did not suffer defeat. He sent messengers therefore unto Balaam the son of Beor to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, behold, there is a people come out of Egypt. Behold, they cover the face of the earth, and they abide over against me. Say, they are just near me now. I can see them. They abide over against me. Verse 6, come now therefore, I pray thee, curse me this people. Listen, brethren, the weapon of curses is a major weapon that causes defeat. When they curse somebody, when they use pronouncements and the power of their tongue, they can program perpetual defeat into somebody's life. Everything that person touches, the person will be defeated. So you say, why calling one man? You say that the people were many. Why not go and rent an army? Go and pay for mercenaries. Go and look for other kingdom to help you. Bring their army and fight. Say, no, this is not a physical battle. The battle against defeat is not a physical battle. You say, I need spiritual help. I need somebody with spiritual capability to help me. You say, come and curse. Use the weapon of curses. So that you speak defeat. Look at how he analyzed it himself. Because he made clear what he wanted. He said, come and curse me these people. For they are too mighty for me. Peradventure, I shall prevail, that we may smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. In other words, so that I can defeat them. For I know, for I wot that he is blessed, and he whom thou cursest. Verse 11. Verse 11. He said, behold, there are people come out of Egypt, which covered the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them. Peradventure, I shall be able to do what? That's another language for defeat. So I say, all I need is, first of all, use your curses to weaken their capability, to weaken their power, to weaken their ability to fight me. Then I will be able to defeat them. He said, all I just want to do is to defeat them and drive them out. So, brethren, this is the extent people go in order not to suffer defeat and in order to defeat other people. And of course, you can't deny that we have enemies. Darkness is our number one enemy. And they also will be working and doing things so that they can defeat us. And the Lord also is showing us these things so that we can defeat them. So this is real. This is real. And do you know there are people that suffer defeat upon defeat year after year, every year defeat, and they don't find out where is this coming from. There are some of those defeats that are foundational from the foundation. Let me show you. Genesis 49. Genesis 49 verse 19. And except you with such foundational defeat, except you deal with them, they could continue to operate continually. This was Jacob. Jacob called his children when he was about to die. That was their foundation. He called all his children and said, come, let me bless you. Let me tell you how your life will go in the future. And look at what he told this one. Verse 19. He said, God is one of the children. That's the one Igbos are claiming today. They say that they are Gadites. He said, God, a troop shall overcome him. Do you see that? A troop will defeat him, for he shall overcome at the last. But he has suffered defeat first. So you now see that in the life of God, he will suffer defeat, suffer victory, suffer defeat, suffer victory. Balance, 1-1, all the time, every year. You don't want such a thing. I don't know why Jacob did this to his children. Because this is not blessing. Why program defeat into the life of your child? Why speak defeat that a troop will overcome him? So it doesn't matter. Wherever God go out to battle, they will first defeat him. It's only later he will come back again and win. And this is foundational defeat that is establishing the foundation. And except God knows what to do, except God knows how to fight this out, that defeat will operate in the life of his children forever and ever. And do you know, brethren, that one of the reasons why the Lord Jesus Christ came is to deliver us from this kind of defeat, is to deliver mankind from defeat. Look at Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, look at verse 11. He was talking about the dragon, the old serpent, and talking about the battle in heaven and everything. Then he got to verse 11 and said, and they overcame there means they defeated him. They defeated him by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. So you now see that one thing Jesus Christ achieved for us is his blood as a weapon to defeat Satan. His testimony as a weapon to defeat Satan. And that's what we are going to use here today. That's what we are going to use here today. Let me show you how kings go to battle in order not to suffer defeat in the new year. 1 Chronicles chapter 19. 1 Chronicles 19. Look at verse 1. Now, it came to pass after this that Nahash, the king of the children of Ammon, died, and his son reigned in his stead. Now what happened was that this Nahash was very good to David. He was a friend of David. So when he was alive. So when he now died, now look at what happened. Verse 2. And David said, I will show kindness unto Hanun, the son of Nahash, because his father showed kindness to me. And David sent messengers to comfort him concerning his father. So the servant of David came into the land of the children of Ammon to Hanun to comfort him. So it was just like friendship something. David sent people, say, go and give him my condolences, that I'm sorry for what happened to you. Your father was a good man and all those kind of a thing. Verse 3. But the princes of the children of Ammon said unto Hanun, thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he has sent comforters unto thee? Are not his servants come unto thee for to search and to overthrow and to spy out the land? Misconception. So they told the servants, the advisors, they told the young king that, David only came to defeat you. He wants to see your weaknesses so that he can defeat you. Verse 4. Wherefore Hanun took David's servants and shaved them, and cut off their garments in the middle hard by their buttocks, and sent them away. He disgraced the men that came, people that came for condolences. Verse 5. Then there were certain and told David how the men were served. So some people came and told David, look at what they did to your servants. And he sent to meet them, for the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your bears be grown, and then return. Verse 6. And when the children of Ammon saw that they had made themselves odious to David, because they know they have looked for trouble. You can't do this to David and think it will end there. And now they also have provoked fear in the heart of David, that they have shown that they are ready to fight. And if David didn't take any step, they could be emboldened to come for greater things. So, brethren, this is how you preemptively engage your enemies. Because you don't know their next step. And you don't want anybody to defeat you accidentally. So the best thing is attack before they attack you. So David now thought that if they could do this, who knows what they are going to do in the new year. So it's better I take action now. So when they saw that they had made themselves odious to them, Hanun, the children of Ammon, sent 1,000 talents of silver to hire them chariots and horsemen out of Mesopotamia, and out of Syria, Makak, and out of Zobah. Can you see that? They started to prepare for war. They hired mercenaries, hired about how many chariots? 1,000 chariots. So they were really ready for battle. Verse 7. So they hired 30 and 2,000 chariots. And the king of Makak and his people who came and pitched before Medeba, and the children of Ammon gathered themselves together from their cities and came to battle. And when David heard of it, David was not even yet preparing. When David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the host of the men, and the children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array before the gate of the city. And the kings that were come were by themselves in the field. Verse 10, now, when Joab saw that the battle was set against him before and behind, they used ambush against Joab. He chose out of all the choice of Israel and put them in array against the Syrians. And the rest of the people he delivered unto the hand of Abishai his brother, and they set themselves in array against the children of Ammon. And he said, if the Syrians be too strong for me, then thou shalt help me. But if the children of Ammon be too strong for thee, then I will help thee. Verse 13, be of good courage. Let us behave ourselves valiantly for our people. Let's fight for our people, because this defeat is not going to limit to us only. If we are defeated here, you know, some defeat has some ripple effect, collateral defeat. I will show you later. Where one person will be defeated and the impact will affect so many other people that didn't even go to that battle. That's what Joab is saying here. He said, let us fight for our people, so that this defeat does not stream down to the last person in Israel. And for the cities of our God, and let the Lord do that which is good in his sight. Verse 14. So Joab and the people that were with him drew nigh before the Syrians unto the battle, and they fled before him. And when the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians were fled, they likewise, that's defeat. The moment you begin to pick race before your enemy, you are defeated already. So they also fled. The people they went to hire for about 1,000 this in silver, those ones ran away. Now they themselves, they ran away. So they fled before Abishai his brother and entered into the city. Then Joab came to Jerusalem. Verse 16. And when the Syrians saw that they were put to the worst before Israel, they sent messengers and drew forth the Syrians that were beyond the river. And Shophak, the captain of the host of Hazarezer, went before them. And it was told David, because David was still at home. It was Joab and his younger brother were the army. So they now told David, and he gathered all Israel and passed over Jordan and came before them and set the battle in array against them. So when David had put the battle in array against the Syrians, they fought with him. But the Syrians fled before Israel, and David slew of the Syrians 7,000 men, which fought in chariots. These ones were like people using armor tanks. David was able to conquer them and their chariots and kill 7,000 of them. And 40,000 footmen, and killed Shophak, the captain of the host. Do you see defeat? Do you see defeat? Now, there was Israel and Syria. They only came as mercenaries because they paid them. So many of this army that came and tested this defeat, there was no problem between them and Israel. But because they wanted to be party, they also suffered the defeat. Verse 19. And when the servants of Hadarezer saw that they were put to the worst before Israel, they made peace with David. And are you following me? Do you know what that means? That's total capitulation. They became his servants. They surrendered. They surrendered. Say, David, you are now our king. Even their king too, if that one did not die in the battle, will become David's servant. This is what happens in defeat. David did not plan before to go and invade these countries. He did not plan before to go and take them captive and turn them to servants. It was the fear of what will happen in the new year. Because if you don't take steps, David had to fight. There was no option left. And now that he has secured his territory, now, became his servant, neither will the Syrians help the children of Ammon anymore. That's the end. The one they helped, they have not recovered from it. They want them their national sovereignty. So that's the end. They will never help them again. And they will serve David until David will die. So this is how defeat looks like. This is how defeat looks like. And defeat can bring shame. Imagine the king of Syria now becoming a servant to David. And he can't wear crown again because you are a servant. David will tell you, if I see crown on your head, I will chop off that head. That is how defeat looks like. That's how defeat looks like. You know, when the British came to Nigeria or to West Africa and they were conquering kingdoms, One of the kingdoms that gave them was the Benin Kingdom, the Benin Empire. He gave them because of Obaisi. He was the king. But because they used gun, they were able to capture him. And when they captured Ovrawen, there was something he said. He said that the basket of corn has tumbled. He said now the mother hen and the children can now rejoice over the basket of corn and eat as they like. That's what defeat looks like. And they forced him to go and commit suicide, to go and hang himself. That's what defeat looks like. Defeat is not good. He lost the kingdom, he lost his head, he lost everything, and then the shame. That picture is still, they still have those pictures. Because they took those pictures where they judged him and made him to commit suicide, to hang himself. So, and the kingdom, didn't the kingdom go? The kingdom disappeared, took over. So that's why you fight. That's why you go and attack when they have not even attacked you yet. That's why you ensure that you don't suffer defeat, so that all the consequences that go with defeat will not come. Look at 1 Samuel chapter 4. 1 Samuel chapter 4. Look at verse 1. And the word of Samuel came to all Israel. Now, Israel went out against the Philistines to battle. And pitched beside Ebenezer. And the Philistines pitched in Aphek. And the Philistines put themselves in array against Israel. And when they joined battle, Israel was smitten. That's another word for defeated. Israel was defeated. The Philistines defeated them. And when you begin to experience incremental defeat, you suffer defeat, small, just very little defeat here, another little defeat there, quickly go back and plan yourself properly to stop that defeat from spreading. This was just a sectional defeat. They just joined the battle newly. Israel suffered the first defeat. Now look at what followed. And they slew of the army in defeat about 4,000 men. The Philistines killed 4,000. Verse 3. And when the people were come into the camp, the elders said, wherefore had the Lord smitten us today before the Philistines? Let us fetch the ark of the covenant of the Lord out of Shiloh unto us, that when it cometh among us, it may save us out of the hand of our enemies. So they started to look for help. They started to look for spiritual help. Listen carefully. We have seen it among the unbelievers, like Balak, that the solution to defeat is spiritual. We have also seen it with the people of God. With what we are reading now, the solution to defeat is spiritual. If you don't want to suffer physical defeat, you have to apply spiritual solutions. Do you see what they said here? They didn't say, well, go back home and conscript all the whole young boys. Bring all the whole army. Everybody come out and fight the Philistines. They said, no, let's go and bring ark. What has the box got to do in the war front? What role is he going to play there? It's not a gun. It's not a machine gun. It's not a bullet. It's nothing. But they were looking for spiritual support. They were trying to overturn their defeat through spiritual means. And that's how to handle it. That's how to deal with it. The moment you begin to experience any kind of defeat, look for spiritual help. Do not work it out in your brain. Are you listening to me? Do not work anything out. You know, sometimes they will say, and speak to the experts. Speak to this one. These are their specialists. You go to a specialist, they make the case worse. They will only hear your story. No solution. No solution. Because the defeat is spiritual in nature. See, so they now say, okay, let's bring the ark of the covenant, so that when the ark will come, it will save us. It will stop this defeat. It will give us victory. Verse 4. So the people sent to Shiloh, that they might bring from thence the ark of the covenant of the Lord of hosts, which dwelleth between the cherubims. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were there with the ark of the covenant of God. That's another problem. That's another problem. If you are looking for spiritual help, make sure it's not deficiency. Because Hophni and Phinehas alone, they are bad market. They are serious negative, serious deficiency to the whole program, to the whole who were not involved. The ark will have still done something for them. Brethren, do you know that there are sins that defeat people? The person doesn't like that sin. You don't want to commit it. But every time that power of the sin will come like this, it will defeat that person instantly. So sin is a major defeater. And now they went and carried the chairman of sin, Hophni and Phinehas, and say, carry the ark and bring it. Because nobody else can touch the ark. Nobody else is allowed to touch the ark apart from the priests. And they were the priests. So, verse 5. And when the ark of the covenant of the Lord came into the camp, all Israel shouted with a great shout. Why were they shouting? Victory. Our defeat has ended. And they shouted so that the earth rang again. I kills morale. Because before now, when they killed 4,000 of them, their morale were finished. So when they saw the ark, it's like, yes, we are going to have victory now. And they were motivated. They shouted. Verse 6. And when the Philistines heard the noise of the shout, they said, what meaneth the noise of this great shout in the camp of the Hebrews? And they understood that the ark of the Lord was coming to the camp. And the Philistines were afraid of what? Afraid of defeat. Afraid of defeat. Because they knew the implication. The ark coming into the battle will turn the tide, will cause their own defeat. So they were afraid. And they said, God is come into the camp. They didn't say the ark is coming into. They said God has come down into this battle. And the Philistines, and they said, woe unto us. For there had not been such a thing heretofore. They say, we have never seen such a thing before, where God comes to fight. Woe unto us, who shall deliver us from this defeat that is impending? Who is going to deliver us from the hand of these mighty gods? These are the gods that smote the Egyptians. So they had all the whole story of all the defeat that this God has delivered to the enemies. And this same God will deliver defeat to your enemies today. So they had the testimonies. They said this is the same God that defeated the Egyptians, that plagued them in the wilderness. But they now did something. Verse 9. They say, be strong and quit yourselves like men, O ye Philistines, that ye be not servants unto the Hebrews, as they have been to you. Quit yourself like men and fight. Make sure you do not suffer defeat. Fight so that you are not defeated. Brother, that's all we are going to do here this evening. We are going to quit ourselves like men. Not ordinary men, men of war. And we will fight so that no defeat will cross into 2024 with us. That's what they told themselves. They say, God or no God, ark or no ark, we don't care. We are going to fight so that we don't fail, we don't suffer defeat. Verse 10, and the Philistines fought. You know, do you see the difference here now? You remember the first place I read to you? The first place I read to you. You know, immediately David came, and they saw David and saw Joab and saw those mighty men of war. What did the Syrians do? They fled. They ran away. Now the Philistines here, what did they do? They stood and fought. That's the difference. That's the difference. Some people, when they see the powers fighting them, they will run away. When they see the powers defeating them, they will run away. We are not going to run. We will fight. So they stood and they fought. And what happened? Israel was smitten. And they fled every man to this time around. You know, this time around, they only stayed in the bush. This time, everybody ran and ran home straight. End of war. They ran straight to their tents, to their houses. And there was a very great slaughter. For there fell of Israel 30,000 footmen. 30,000 were slaughtered. And the ark of God was taken. They captured the instrument of defeat that was brought. You know, that's what you target when you fight this kind of battle. That weapon, that instrument that your enemies have been using to defeat you, you target it and capture it. You target it and destroy it. So that it will not work. That's what Israel did. When they discovered in that battle, when the Lord said, vex the Midianites and smite them, they looked for Balaam and they chopped off his head. That's what to do. That instrument of defeat that the enemies have been using against you, you have to eliminate it. You have to eliminate it. So you can see here, they collected the ark. The Philistines collected the ark. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, they killed the two of them. Those are the spiritualists. Those are the priests that were the one using enchantment, using prayer, using all kinds of things to mutter and to speak defeat. They slew them. This is how to fight the battle. So that when they go into the new year, there will be no Hophnis, there will be no Phinehas, there will be no ark, there will be nothing. They will live their life and prosper because they've dealt with the instruments of defeat. Verse 12. And there ran, I told you there are some defeat that have ripple effects. Look at the effects now. That's collateral defeat. There ran a man of Benjamin out of the army and came to Shiloh the same day with his clothes rent and with earth upon his head. That's the sign of defeat. Sign of defeat everywhere in the country. Verse 13. And lo, Eli sat upon a seat by the wayside watching, for his heart trembled. For what? He knew his children. And so when they carried that ark, he couldn't stop them. But his heart was, hey, will this ark come back? His heart trembled. Do you know where they have been carrying that ark from, brethren? That ark was built by Moses. This was over not less than 500 to 1,000 years before then. That was the ark they brought from the wilderness. The things that were inside the ark were the original copy of that stone that God gave to Moses was inside that ark. Such national treasure, such national power, national secret, national emblem that Israel was carrying. The enemy collected it. His heart was trembling for the ark. And when the man came into the city and told it, all the city, do you see the ripple effect I told you about? No. All the city cried because of what? Defeat. Defeat. Verse 14. And when Eli heard the noise of the cry, he said, what meaneth the noise of this tumult? And the man came in hastily and told Eli. Now, Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were dim, that he could not see. And the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I fled today out of the army. And he said, what is there done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel is fled before. Israel is just simply said, Israel is defeated. Israel is fled before the Philistines. And there had also been a great slaughter among the people. And thy two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, they are dead. The ark of God, the enemies have collected it. Verse 18. And it came to pass, when he made mention of the ark of God, that he fell off from the seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died. Do you see the ripple effect of defeat? This one didn't go to battle. Just the impact of the defeat in the battlefront. See how many people now the thing is affecting. So his neck brake, for he was an old man, and then heavy. He was fat, big. Why? Because he has spent all these years eating meat. All the sacrifice of the children of Israel, the priest, he will eat all of them. So he was heavy. And he has judged Israel 40 years. And the 40 years ended in defeat. Defeat and shame. Verse 19. And his daughter-in-law, the part has not finished though. The daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was with a child, was pregnant, near to be delivered. And when she heard the tidings that the ark of God was taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and she fell into labor immediately, for her pain came upon her. And about the time of her death, she died in that labor. That the woman that stood by her said unto her, fear not, for thou hast borne a son. But she answered not, she couldn't answer, she was dead. Neither did she regard it. And she named the child Ichabod. That is, what's the meaning? Defeat. Defeat. Do you see the ripple effect of defeat? That even a newly born baby has to carry the name. They say Ichabod, saying the glory is departed from Israel because the ark of God has been taken away. And because of her father-in-law that was there and her husband, she said the glory is departed from Israel, for the ark of God is taken. Now, this ark they took away has been what has been protecting Israel for over 1,000 years. Every battle they brought the ark, they will have victory. Now the ark is gone. What is their future? How will they face the enemy tomorrow? How will they fight the battles of the future? Do you see that that's why you have to fight with all your life? So that defeat does not cross over with you. I told you there are different kinds of defeat. And there are some defeat that will attach itself to that person no matter how you struggle, no matter what you do. And except you overcome that defeat, you will never step into your destiny. You know, we're talking about the glory of destiny on Sunday. You remember Prophet Isaiah? Prophet Isaiah was called, and everybody knew him to be the prophet of the land. But the destiny of Isaiah couldn't manifest. He was there from so many kings, kings upon kings, until when Uzziah died, and then something now happened. He saw a vision. He now saw that he had unclean lips, and he dwelt among people with unclean lips. So apparently their lips have been defeating them year after year, year after year, year after year. Their lips, unclean lips. That has been the weapon of their defeat. Until an angel, a seraph, had to come from heaven with a coal of fire from the altar of God and touch their lips and purge their lips. That's only when God could say, who will go for us? He said, I'm here. He said, okay, go. He was unfit, not fit for purpose, until that lips were purged. That was a perpetual defeat. And if he did not obtain that mercy to be purged, he will have died. Everybody will have said he's a prophet, but no ministry, no manifestation, nothing. Because of that was defeating him. I don't know what is defeating you, brethren. I don't know what defeated you so badly this year that is so apparent to you that this thing defeated me truly. I don't know what it is. But I know what defeated me. And I'm going to deal with it today. Let's close our eyes. Begin to talk to the Lord. Talk to the Lord. First of all, I want you to bring quality repentance and begin to tell the Lord and say, my God and my Father, I confess now. I acknowledge, Lord.
Thank you for watching. If this message blessed you, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to join our growing community of faith. You've just listened to the sermon, but there are powerful prayers that follow. Due to social media rules and guidelines, the prayers have been removed from this video. However, you can access the full prayers and more life-changing resources by visiting www.pastorhillary.org or downloading our app, Diadem Media. If you're in the London area, we'd love to have you fellowship with us in person at 4 Pegamoid Road, N18 2NG. If you have any questions about this message, want counseling from Pastor Hillary, or wish to share your testimonies following the prayers, please leave a comment below and someone from our team will get in touch. Until next time, may God bless you abundantly and guide you in all your ways. Stay victorious.